8 years ago, I was stuck in a cycle of stress and overspending. I hated my job. I was in over $70,000 worth of debt, and I was financing electronics and shopping sprees, and I was eating out multiple times a week. I knew my spending was out of control, but I felt like that was the only thing I could control in my life. I knew it wasn't smart, but I felt like, well, what's the point of trying to fix this mess? I've already dug the hole. Here's the thing. On the very rare occasion that I would actually look at my bank account, there was always this little nagging voice saying, if you ever want to leave this job, if you ever want to stop living paycheck to paycheck, and if you ever want to have more than $1,000 to your name, something has to change. That's when I gave budgeting a try. And yes, at first it felt restrictive and overwhelming and just like a constant reminder of how bad things were. But once I learned 3 simple truths about budgeting, everything changed. So if you've ever thought budgeting just doesn't work for me, then keep watching this video because these 3 truths will absolutely change the way that you view budgeting. And please don't miss number 3 because you cannot stick to a budget without it. So let's get started. But first, if we haven't met before, hi, my name is Rachel. Welcome to The Choice Life. Truth number 1, a budget must be simple. I was never good at math in school, and numbers never came easy to me. And that's probably why I avoided budgeting for so long, because it's all about the numbers. And if you're someone like me who would get stressed out by the numbers, then you have to keep your budgeting method simple. If you try using a budgeting method that is overly complicated or confusing, trust me, you will not stick to it. Or if you use a great budgeting method, but is really meant for money nerds who want to track the interest that they earn down to the penny, and you're a brand new budgeter, and you're just wanting to track the basics, trust me, you will not stick to it. I can't stress this enough. If you are new to budgeting and you really want to make it work for you, you have to keep it simple. My favorite budgeting method is the zero-based budget. And using this method, you budget every single dollar that you bring in down to the penny. See, what I used to do was pay all of my bills and have my spending, and anything that was left over just sat in my checking account. Or honestly, I would just find a reason to spend it. See, the power of the zero-based budget is you won't have any leftover money just sitting around because every dollar is given a job. Now, you might ask, well, how do I know what job to give my money? Well, there's an awesome and very simple budgeting rule that I like to use, and it's called the 50-30-20 rule. And basically what that means is with all the money that you bring in each month, 50% of it goes to your needs, 30% goes to your wants, 20% goes to savings. I really like this budgeting rule because it gives you an easy guideline to follow. So you already know how much you're allowed to spend in each area. And the funny thing is, as I got good with money, I began to love money rules. And so I'm just like, okay, tell me what are the rules to get wealthy and I'll do it. And honestly, it's simple. It's make money, spend less than you make, and invest the difference. Rinse and repeat. Truth number 2, a budget must be personal. Have you ever been on a diet? Well, I tried to cut out sugar cold turkey one time.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
And it did not go well. If you've ever attempted a diet, then you know that completely changing your eating habits overnight is not only a recipe for failure, but also you might end up having worse eating habits than before you even tried the diet. Then starts the spiral of shame when you don't meet this unrealistic goal that you set for yourself. And let me tell you something, shame is not a winning strategy. When we try to change long-standing habits suddenly, it's like giving our brain whiplash because it can't change that fast. And as much as you want to change your habits right now, you have to give your brain time to reorient to this new way of life. According to a recent study, it can take anywhere from 18 to 254 days for a new habit to form. So why am I saying all of this? Well, just like with a diet, you cannot make drastic overnight changes to your financial habits and expect to stick with it. Doing that comes with a high risk of failure, but that's what a lot of people do. They'll watch a video about building wealth and they'll get inspired to get their finances in order, and then in their eagerness, they cut out everything that they love to do. Most of us want instant results, so we take drastic measures. We'll do a no sugar, no fat, no fun diet instead of just simply focusing on having a healthier lifestyle overall. Or we'll eat rice and beans and cut out our baby's clarinet lessons instead of simply just being more mindful about our spending and thinking of creative ways we can make more money. A budget that is restrictive is very difficult to stick with. And just like with a diet, a budget is not one size fits all. Personal finance is personal, so your budget must reflect your lifestyle, your values, and your priorities. An example of making your budget personal is changing the 50-30-20 rule to fit your numbers. When you first start budgeting, it can be very difficult to hit that 50-30-20 benchmark because your expenses might be too high, and that's okay. So we're going to make your budget fit reality and work our way up to that benchmark. So in the beginning, if you have to start with a 75-15-10 rule or a 90-10-0 rule, that's fine. We all start messy, and you are winning simply because of the fact that you started. And the most important thing with budgeting is not how you start, but that you start. A budget that is simple, not restrictive, and personal is a fantastic budget, but it is still missing a crucial factor. And like I said earlier, if this is not a part of your budget, I guarantee you will not stick with it. Truth number 3, a budget must be irresistible. So continuing with the diet analogy, 3 years ago, I randomly decided that I should cut sugar from my diet cold turkey. And I don't really know why I decided that, but I just kept hearing like, oh, sugar is bad for you. You should not eat sugar. Stop eating sugar. It's horrible. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I should cut out sugar. And in less than a week, I hated my life. I couldn't concentrate. I was mad all the time. I didn't enjoy eating anymore because I knew it wouldn't taste good. Life was horrible. And needless to say, I quickly went back to eating sugar because I didn't have a strong enough reason to give up my love affair of tasty treats. It is the same way with budgeting or changing any habit around money. One thing is for sure, you will have to sacrifice. And if you don't have a strong enough reason to keep sacrificing, you won't stick with it. And most people think that they can sacrifice just by sheer willpower. I feel strong! But it just doesn't work that way. So when it comes to budgeting, instead of relying on sheer willpower in order to resist spending, I want you to make your financial goals so tempting and so irresistible that you are willing to endure any sacrifice in order to achieve them. Our brains love rewards, and the more irresistible the reward, the harder we will work to get it. And I'll give you the perfect example. See, I hate waking up early. Like, I'm not a morning person at all, and I love to sleep in. But I would keep hearing all these gurus saying, like, millionaires wake up at 5 a.m. And I'm like, okay, dang, I guess I gotta get up at 5 a.m. And so I'm setting all these alarms and setting like 6 alarms trying to get up at 5 a.m. and I'm snoozing all of them, and it's so hard, and I keep failing because I'm just doing it because somebody else told me to do it. But when I decided I wanted to grow on YouTube, my body just naturally woke me up. Like, I didn't need no alarm clock. I would just pop out of bed excited to film a video and bring value to you guys. So my desire for success on YouTube was so irresistible that I was willing to sacrifice sleeping in to get it. So I want you to ask yourself, what is something that you want in life that is so irresistible? Is it to buy your dream home, or is it to eat out at a new restaurant every week and get appetizers and desserts? Or is it to take your kids on a Disney cruise and get the 2-story cabin that has a balcony? You decide what is irresistible to you, and that is what is going to keep you motivated to stick to your budget no matter the sacrifice. And it'll also help you to shift your mindset from thinking that it's all about sacrificing to realizing what you're gaining. And if you want to gain financial peace, then you must have an emergency fund. So click this video right here where I teach you how to build your first emergency fund even on a tight budget. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in that video.